We should be good now. Okay. And actually, I'm gonna do this scene. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Welcome back to another week of Game Developers Club. I'm Joe Grief, again. So, that was a little rough patch there. Something was wrong with one of my codecs and it didn't register my microphone on my laptop or something. I don't know. More knowledge than I know about computers. So, okay, so for those who just now turned on or whatever, so I guess this will be a new video, we're going to go over, show you guys how to do Raycast. This is what we're going to do right now. And Raycast is a line that you shoot out from point A to wherever you want to set it. You can set it to a set distance, or you can make it go to infinity. It'll go until it hits something. We'll make another object along with that called a Raycast hit. That'll give us the information on the object that we hit with our Raycast. So let's do it to it. Okay, so we fired up Unity. We went in here. We made a new script. Totally empty script at this moment though, but it's called Raycaster, and we added it to our player prefab right here. So let's get it to do something now. Now this is going to be the interesting part. Is going to be me trying to remember how to actually do a Raycast. Okay. Raycast hits. We'll call it RC hit. This is our object. This is our Raycast hit object. So now when we're doing a Raycast, we say, oh geez, this might be bad. Physics, not iPhone settings, sorry. Physics.raycast vector 3. Actually, we won't even do that. We'll use, yeah. So what you pass into a parameter of Raycast, you pass in the start location as a vector 3, the direction as a vector 3. If you're using a Raycast hit object, which we will be, you're going to use that as your out to get the information, and the distance as a float. So we begin by saying we'll do transform dot position, because that'll be our character's position that we start with. We'll do vector 3 dot forward, which you know is 0, 0, 1. We'll say out RC hit, and this is giving us our RC hit, our Raycast hit object, and it's giving us the information that's coming from it. And we're going to do our distance as a float. We'll do like 10. Sorry, 10.0. Oh, okay, this is why. Alright, this is why it looks so weird when I first started. Because Raycast is a bool. It's a bool by nature. So you're sending its information out, and you always want to do it in an if statement. So we're going to say if Raycast hit. That's going to be, hey. So if physics.raycast transform position, work for 3. Okay. So now if our Raycast runs into anything, we will do a little debug statement, debug.log, and we'll just put like hi, right? And now if this works properly, when we go back into Unity, we should just be seeing hi flying up all over our console window like crazy. So let's go back into Unity and let's see if this works. See if my syntax is right. Yep, okay, good. Alright, not registering. That's okay. Let's make this bigger. Let's make it like 100 just for testing, and we'll see if that's the case. This might be totally wrong syntax-wise. I'm probably gonna need to pull up the API here in a second just to make sure I'm doing things correctly. Okay, no, it's sitting. Okay, so you see how we're getting high? It's popping up all crazy all over our console log. So running into stuff. Now that's cool. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Great. Now let's go back into Mono and let's add some constraints on here, right? So physics.raycast. Okay, so now what we can say is if RC hit dot collider, so it's saying the collider that we're crashing into, then we're going to go up a level to its dot game object dot name is equal to wall. And now instead of debugging high, we'll just say put it here, and we'll put wall hit. And now when we walk forward with our little guy and there's that little wall there, we'll run into it and we should get a raycast saying wall hit. And let's change this back down to 10. Okay. And now this should give us, so down here in our console, we should see it say wall hit when we get nice and close to it. Okay, wall hit. Perfect. So you guys can kind of see how that sort of implements. Oh, I guess I had mono open here for those watching at home if there are any. So we did this little raycaster. Now down here in our console, we'll see that we'll have wall hit whenever that wall is whenever our raycast is going forward. So you can see our little info box here. This tells you how many updates is happening. So basically every time that raycast is going over that wall, it's just recounting it over and over and over again. So that's the basic idea behind raycasts. They're super cool, super powerful, really helpful if you want to do things like this. You know, I know that we're going to talk about, well, we probably won't talk about it on the stream, but for us, we're going to talk about AI, and that's probably going to be a big part of our AI and how they pathfind. I mean, maybe not, but maybe. So, but yeah, so that's the main idea of raycast hits. Like a lot of times, you can do like okay, sorry. So for example, my last game, my Robot Ninja game, I have it set up to where there's two different raycasts, and the first one will, if the player is inside of the large collider of a turret that I set up, then the turret will automatically find that player and it'll track it. But if there's any line of sight issues, if it can't draw that line directly to the player, it won't actually track onto it. But as soon as that player becomes visible, then that turret will lock onto that player and it'll follow him around wherever it goes. So raycasts are super beneficial if you're doing something like that. It makes it really nice to be able to draw little imaginary lines. You can also color in these lines. I don't exactly remember how to do that. It might be, no, I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But you can draw little lines. You can make like a little red line and make it look sort of as if we were using a laser, something like that. But so that's general basic ideas on raycasting. Did you guys have any questions about it? That makes sense for the most part? Okay, cool. Now we got that. Very basic idea of that. I'm going to go back and we're going to go and talk about implementing the GUI inside Unity. So we got this font last time, this karate font, right? I mean, that was pretty fun. So let's put it into application and let's make it pop up somewhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to here to our little walk here object, and that already has GUI text. Let's do something without a GUI text on it already. Let's go to our scene. Let's go to the beginning, just the start. We can save it because we made that raycast. So our main camera has this game start script on it. So let's open that up in mono. Let's add some stuff to it. So the way we're going to do GUI in Unity, a very easy implementation, is using what's called a GUI style. And that's its own class. So we're going to say GUI style, and let's make it public so we can access it from the inspector inside Unity. And now this is going to have a whole bunch of drop-down options that we can choose from. So let's go back into Unity. Let's take a look at it real quick. So our game start, there it is. So it pops up and we see we got all these cool little options now that we can pick and choose from because it's a GUI style. So we can go into our fonts and we can grab our karate font. We can drag and drop it right there onto font. Let's make font size something reasonable, like 20, so we can all see it. And let me click that. And one of the cool things about GUI styles is now we can go in here and remember how we had like that default background of that, like the kind of basic box. You know how all the GUI by default looks like that. We can go in here and we can change it, and we can say, for example, on normal. Well, for now it has none, but it had we don't actually have any textures to pop in there. But you can throw in a 2D texture if you want to have an image, for example. If you wanted to draw your own little thing up in GIMP and you wanted to have that be your picture or your button or your logo or whatever, you can throw it in a GUI style and you can access it right here, which is really nice. But let me actually show you this in practice. We'll go back into mono because we have to actually assign it to our rect. So in the rect, at the very end, after the information, like such as the string that you're passing in, we're going to say the GUI style, which is conveniently named GUI style. We'll save that, go back into Unity, and now we hit start. Now we have this little, this is our new colored. See that? Yeah. So now we have karate style start button. You know, we can add that to the start page as well. If I can remember where that script even is for the start page. Is that right here? Okay. So let's go back into mono. We can say the same thing here. Start page, comma, GUI style. And it'll be the same thing. I mean, it'll just be huge. And what we could also do in Unity is we can make a few different GUI styles for these. We can make our own also. Create maybe not there. Oh, we might have to make a GUI skin and then cast that into a GUI style, but that's okay. Oh, these extra fonts that I made, I don't know how. I'm gonna delete these real quick. Okay, so our karate's there, it's good, we got it hooked up to our start page. Now our main start should say it as well. Okay, cool, this is the start page. So that's gonna be the basic of how we make it. I think that what we can also do is we can go in here and we can create, I don't want to make custom fonts, I don't know why it keeps doing that, that's so weird. We can create a GUI skin, and we'll name this karate skin. And we're going to make it a box. We'll be using it as a box, I guess. And then so we can take this karate, you can drop it in here. Font size of, let's give it, the other one was 20, so let's give it an 80. I think this will work. Now what we can do is we can go back into our scripts and we can say public GUI skin equals GUI skin, give it a name. It's not good. Oops, what am I doing? Okay, so it's public. Go back into Unity, find this other public variable, name GUI skin, take that, drop it on there, and now I think this might totally fail and it might not actually work at all and might give us a bunch of errors and everything, but I think that we can delete this here. I think before it we can just say, let me delete this GUI style as well. I think we can say GUI style equals GUI skin, and it'll know. I think it'll know automatically. I think it'll automatically apply this GUI skin to our default GUI style. But let's find out. Oh, looks like I was totally wrong. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to go back to the way that I had it then. Let's get rid of those. I know there's a way you can do that. I can't remember off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. But you can make a default style for it, and it'll work across the board. But okay, so now we have our GUI using the right type of text. So those are the two main things I want to show you. Oh, I also wanted to go into, I don't remember if I did this ever on the stream or not, but I wanted to go into, I wanted to create a basic terrain, and I wanted to show you guys how you implement that terrain. So I guess I won't do it on the start page, but let's go make a new scene. Save that, and we're gonna add terrain. I think we went over this at one point in here. I'm pretty sure on how to raise and lower the terrain levels, but I want to do it again because this is going to be really important for us to know how to do. And I think that this will also be something that maybe the next time we meet, we can all get together and make our own terrains, and we can put them together and get some basic levels. But so the terrain's really cool in Unity. It's really easy and very functional. It has all these little options over here to allow you to do a bunch of different unique and cool things. So this first one, it raises and lowers terrain. You can set how big of terrain you want it to be, or I mean you can set how much of the terrain you want it to move. Then if you just hold on it, it's going to raise up the terrain like so, right? And this is huge. It looks tiny, but it's huge. Like our character mesh, for example, was probably, yeah, I mean he's about normal size. So let's go back in our terrain and let's start just messing around with that, right? And you can hold shift and you can bring it down. You can change its opacity so it raises up faster, which is really nice. You can also get a certain height. Let's say I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh, but I really like just how tall that one point is right here. You can click this button, which will give you the exact height. If you hold shift, it's going to give you the sample height. So you click that there, and then you just start pasting it, or you start painting everywhere, and it's going to give you a flat surface across the board. If you want to keep it all the same. And now, one of the other cool things is we can go in here and we can paint. I don't think I have any textures to paint with, but that's okay. I'll just import some right now. This is just Unity's default terrain assets that they just let anyone have. I mean, they're just free assets that exist in the world. They'll come up here and then new folder, standard assets down there. But now when we go into here, into our paint texture, we can go to edit textures, add a new texture 2D, and we'll add a cliff. And that'll paint everything, but that's okay. I'm gonna add another texture. We're going to make dirt. Oops, I added the wrong spot. Now we can take this dirt, and once we have it selected and we're painting with it, then we can say like, oh, I want this part to be dirt, right? So now we're going to have dirty area, a bunch of dirt, you know, add a whole bunch of different textures. I mean, we'll end up making these textures eventually, but they're just little basic images. You know, we can get a little grass. We can also go down here and we can change the target strength. We can make it really weak so it will only paint over a little bit of it. I don't even know if you guys can see that on there. Can you guys see that okay? Should I turn off the lights? Can you guys see okay? Well, let's hit the lights. Okay. Oh yeah, that shows up so much better. Yeah, so you can go in here and you can change this target strength, which is pretty cool. And it's just a little slider, and then you can go and paint over, you know, and you see how it's kind of see-through. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't on there. I don't know. You can make it real weak, paint it up here. So it's painting it a little bit. It's really hard to tell on the overhead, but as long as you guys get the idea of what's going on here. And you can also do cool things like adding in trees. I don't know if this will have trees here. Okay, cool. It does give us a basic tree in standard assets. So you can go and add trees, and this is cool because it'll randomly place them throughout. I'm gonna make my view a little bit bigger here. Zoom in on our terrain here. We can just start placing them. Oh, that's huge. So let's tree density. Let's turn that way down to like 20. And now when we place them, we'll just start putting them up appropriately. Let's paint in this. Let's paint them with some sand all over the place, just so we can see things when they show up. Like that. We can go back in our trees. Also, we can get like little flowers and stuff. I guess it's considered a grass texture. And I mean, these are the little things that are built into Unity. I mean, I don't really recommend using them, but by all means you can. I mean, that's what they are there for that. But I'm a big fan of creating all of our own assets, and for the sake of this club, we'll probably be doing that. But there's a whole bunch of cool things in here, right? Like color variation, tree height, variation tree width, and variation of tree width, which I think is really cool. You know, we can have a whole bunch of different variations. Like, let's put a few up here, and now I got a whole bunch of different heights and a whole bunch of different heights and colors and all that fun stuff. And apparently, if you zoom in close enough, it has its own grass as well, but doesn't render it that far. But so that's more or less the terrain. You can build really cool dynamic terrains with this, which is super beneficial and really fast, and it saves so much time. And you can make things look, you know, you can make them look as good as you want to make them. It's all up to you and how well you want to implement it. There is with Unity. With the free version of Unity, which we're all using, we don't get dynamic water, unfortunately. But there's we could take this terrain, right? We can. What am I trying to do here? We can like raise a big chunk of it, and then you can kind of make pseudo water. It's not real water, but it just looks like water. I've done this for a few games. Let's just make it all flat about there. Up on this little high rise, we'll put a little pool. Just need to make it big enough. And now, oh, it's yeah. So if you hold Shift, while you're doing it, it'll lower it. So we'll put water in here. The water that we're going to use is again, we're just going to import it as a standard asset because I obviously haven't made a water for this exact particular case. So we can import package water. This is going to have a whole bunch of. This is another thing this is another reason why I don't like just importing assets too, because you get so much extra stuff that you really don't need. I mean, yeah, it's all useful, but if you're creating from scratch, you know exactly how much stuff you're getting along with the package that. I mean, I guess it's not even a package at that point. But if you go down here to import package, you can see that there's this other water option, but it's Pro only, so it's Unity Pro. It's like $1,500 to get Unity Pro, and you know, it's super. It's great. It has dynamic shadows just built in with it, which is super cool. I mean, so many benefits to having the Pro version, but who knows? Maybe the school buy it all. Maybe the school buy us each a copy. How cool would that be, right? Yeah, right. So I'm gonna just fix this a little bit over here, tighten that up a little. All right, and now let's go and let's find that water. It's literally just a pane, not like a pain in the ass. Like it's just like a pane of color. Okay, where is it? Oh, sorry, that's right here. So then you can make it nice and big. Just scale it out a little bit, and we will move it up. Alright. Our train's a little messed up, so it doesn't really look like water really, but we can just kind of do this little move. Just paint around the edges of it a little, like so. Make that spire way too big. Welcome. Alright, now if we zoom way in on it, we can actually tell that there's a... Oh, we might have to be in play mode, that's okay. Let's take our player and let's move him, player object, there's a camera attached to him. Let's move him up to here. Oh, shoot. Nice ringtone. Although we can't put the stream up anymore because that song's totally copyrighted. Okay, well, maybe once we can actually get him situated on here a little bit. That didn't work out. Oh, that's why, because we have two main cameras. Because our player has a main camera, and there's a main camera just built into the script. So, okay, he's just going to fall to nothing because he doesn't have anything hooked up. But, so, here's a big downside of water, is that once you fall in it with this water, there's just nothing on the inside. So, if we wanted to simulate water effect, for example, what we could do is, we could have him, once he passes that level, we could put a little collider at the top of all of this water. And then from there, as soon as you enter, we could disable gravity or something like that, for example, or maybe give you a bunch of force being added up behind you to give you kind of the feeling that you're floating. And then maybe once you fully dive underwater, we could render the camera with like a blue filter over the top of it, and then maybe animate like some bubbles going up or something, you know, to give the user a feeling that they're actually underwater. Because right now it's literally that you will go down there. I mean, you guys saw, you fall down and it's just into the water. Now you're underneath the water, and that's literally that. I wish I could move up, but I don't have a mouse over script attached to this guy. But so I mean that's water. I mean, you know, there's two different types. You can also get. Oh, and sorry, this is actually what the water is. It's just a whole bunch of different texture maps being placed on to each other. But we could also get nighttime water. And you know, it's a little reflective. What else we can probably do is now we're just cheating and just importing a whole bunch of assets. We can make we can import these skyboxes. Skyboxes are pretty cool, and we might see a reflection. I don't know if these reflect. This crappy free water, I don't know if it reflects, but I'm pretty sure the pro version reflects. So what we can do here is we can go in. These things are called. These are called skyboxes, and they're really cool because they just give you the looks of a really, really unique and interesting skyline. So you can go in here and you can add, oh, maybe it's up here, effects, rendering skybox, okay, there it is, but it won't let me access it for some reason. Okay, Eerie Skybox. And now when we looked at the camera, let's move this guy. I wish I had a camera script attached to him so I can move the camera around. Okay, that didn't give us what I wanted. Oh, you know what? I think I need to... I'm trying to remember. Oh man, this has been a long time since I've added a skybox. Sorry, this is a pretty fail on my part right here. Did I add it? Oh, because I added it to the train, that's why. Duh. Let's go to the main camera, and now let's add rendering skybox. And now let's throw on some kind of cool thing. So we got Eerie Skybox, Moonshine, Nighttime, Overcast, Sunny. Mostly sunny. This will probably show up the most obvious. Oops. Or it won't even at all, and we won't even see it. Okay, so you see in the background there, we got. Sorry, let me put our main camera at 0, 0 on our character. And I'm just gonna angle it up in the sky for now. So we can see. Move it back a little bit. Not only X. Move it up about 15 and move it back about 15. And let's just rotate it upward for now. And just so you guys can kind of see what the skybox does. So you put in a skybox and just like that, you know, it's pretty cool. We get our guy's falling over on the side. That's funny. You can see like the train and stuff going on. So here, this will be a little better. So now in our scene, let's just move him. Just move him in somewhere. I don't know, he's falling at a weird angle. Okay. Oh, because I'm moving our camera. Ah, sorry guys. Not doing good right now. But okay, yeah. So sorry. So for the most part, you get that right. So we got the sky. We just implemented this thing called a skybox, and this is what the sky will look like. Fortunately, you can't move around to really see it. It is static, so it'll stay in one spot the whole time throughout the whole scene. It's not a dynamic skybox, but you know we can make that. It's just all we want to make. Skyboxes are cool. So it's skyboxes are also kind of sort of like water. They have there's a whole bunch of different textures that are added to them to give it sort of that unique look. And I mean, you know, there's so much stuff in Unity that's like this, that it's just built into the engine that you can just use. You can go up here to assets and import, and there's just a whole load of stuff that you can import into here. Like the character controller we made, you can just import one. We could just import this, and we could probably, this might not work, it might though. We can take our moving around script, let's just remove it. Let's add this. Add in this character motor, which is going to allow us to move around, but it doesn't have. It won't be able to call our one animation that we made for our guy, so it actually probably won't work. Okay, yeah, that character motor is not gonna. Probably won't work for what we want to do. But I mean, you know, I'm just kind of toying around right now. You guys have any questions about anything? Do you in the stream have any questions about anything? You monitoring the stream? Add a light? Okay, yeah, sure. So we can make, there's a few different ways to add a light. There's a number of different types of lights that we can add. But let's just go here and we'll do a, oh man, if I can remember where to get my light from. Because the idea is we want to make, well, I don't know what type of light this person's looking for. Like I said, there's a few different types of lights that you can get in Unity. And typically we're going to be using an area light, which is going to shine the light all down on one spot. It'll kind of be representative of the sun. If I can remember how to add this, if I can find it. Maybe I can't. Oh, there he is over there. So we're going to do directional light. It's kind of what I recommend, and that's sort of representative of the sun. It'll look kind of like the sun. But if you didn't want to use that and you wanted to change it up, you can do these little point lights, which is going to give you this tiny little light that you can adjust its intensity. Here it's got a little scaler. This is kind of how much it's illuminating from its point, right? And you can go to infinity with it. You can also change its color. So if you wanted to do like, if you wanted to make a building and you want to make an exit sign or something, you could write out that exit sign as just like a basic 3D mesh, and then you can give it just a green light behind it, and it'll look illuminated like a green exit sign, you know, or whatever. So that's a point light. You know, point lights are cool for that. You know, you can add in a lot of different stuff. But like I said, we'll typically be using a directional light. Directional light, it's like I said, it's representative of the sun. But you can also change its color. You know, we can say like, let's make it all red, or let's make it blue. You know, whatever you want. Typically, we're gonna leave it white. You can probably make it black, but that kind of defeats the purpose of a light, right? And there's a few more. There's area light, which I don't think we can use. Yeah, you have to have Pro to use area light. You know, a lot of stuff you have to have Pro and for Unity. We are using a free version of a super solid software. We can use the spotlight, which is cool. Works just like a spotlight. If we were to get rid of our directional light, we're going to turn our spotlight on. Let's make it there, right? So we got a little spotlight on the ground. We could shine up in the sky and put a bat signal in it. Okay, so that's about that. I mean, that's about all I'm going to show you guys today. I know I wanted to leave us some time so we could all talk as a club off the stream. Sorry, guys. You got to come to class if you want to find out what's really happening. Yeah, we're just going to talk about the game for a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the stream for now. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next week.